Florida home buyers are being blindsided by something terrible happening in Florida right now. And right now, there are many folks who think it is the most unaffordable time in human history to even be thinking about buying a house. But we all know that the Florida insurance market is in crisis. We know that property taxes pretty much everywhere have exploded. Mortgage rates have spiked, but mortgage rates are volatile and they trade, and they appear to be on the downtick now, marginally, right? But the days of having 2% mortgage interest rates are long gone. So with that, there is a tremendous amount of people who are on the sidelines. They're either trapped in their home and they can't sell because they can't trade out of their mortgage interest rate, or they just simply can't afford to buy a home because they don't have the money. But people are going broke. Insurance has skyrocketed, property taxes have skyrocketed, the cost of living has skyrocketed, credit card debt has skyrocketed, the national debt has skyrocketed. We're going to see defaults left and right. And I'm getting phone calls from investors who thought that they were going to make easy money in the Airbnb or the VBRO or the rental space, and they are just getting decimated. Rent compression is real, and a lot of these people did not factor in the skyrocketing costs of all of these different factors. So people are feeling the pain. And as a boots on the ground operator of a high performance real estate team here in South Florida, I also know that the only metric that I can actually track that means anything, it's a leading indicator, not a lagging indicator, is the amount of folks who reach out to me to buy or sell homes in the last 7 days. And let's also keep in mind, this is after there was an assassination attempt on Donald Trump. We've got, I want to be accurate here, so I got to think for a second, 13 new buyers internationally have reached out to me specifically to buy a home in South Florida. And in the past, during the pandemic, it was mostly the Northeast or the Pacific Northwest. Now it's mainly international. But cash seeks its highest value, and lots of people out there who are prudent, disciplined, and want to escape wherever it is that they are looking to move to Florida to max out South Florida living to the fullest. But I want to share a story right now about a buyer who almost lost damn near $500,000 buying their dream home in their dream lifestyle. And I'm going to keep them anonymous because I don't want to blow up their spot. But if they're watching this video, they'll know exactly who they are. Some of my favorite clients. About a year ago, give or take, they called me up and they decided they wanted to move back to Boston. And during the pandemic, during the frenzy, they wanted to escape Boston. They did not want to be there anymore. They wanted to be in the sunshine, be near the beach, max out South Florida living to the fullest. And so they bought a home completely online, virtually. This was during the lockdown. They couldn't get here. They weren't able to fly. And they certainly weren't able to lay eyes on the property in person. So everything was done virtually, and they did. They found their dream home, their dream lifestyle, and they thought they were going to live the dream here in Florida forever. But as I mentioned, about a year ago, they called up and said, Chris, we're moving back to Boston. We gave it a shot. We really want to be closer to family. And I totally respect that, totally understood it. There are many people who moved here during the pandemic that no longer want to be here anymore for whatever reason. And so off they went, and we sold their home. We found the one buyer on planet Earth willing to pay more than anybody else, and they were thrilled. Off they went to Boston. And I thought that would be the end of the story as far as that chapter of their lives went, but that's not how it went. Instead, 6 months later, after being back in the Northeast, they couldn't take it anymore. Called me up and said, Chris, we're moving back. We want to find our dream home, but ideally, we want to find it in the same neighborhood and preferably on the same street, which is damn near unicorn shopping. I mean, the odds of you finding that on demand are typically zero. But evidently, sometimes you find a unicorn, and we did. So we found their dream home and dream lifestyle on the street they wanted to be on. And we knew we didn't have time. Now, also working with some other buyers who are shopping in a much higher price point, there's a lot more inventory. There are homes that were sitting on the market a lot longer. But the one I'm referencing was on the market for less than a day. I knew there would be multiple offers which bid the price higher, and there was going to be competition. We were the first ones in to see the home, and because I knew the other realtor, the listing agent, I was able to convey to them that I have their buyers, and I know there's going to be competition. But I did what I did. We got their contract accepted, and I thought that would be the end of the story, but I was mistaken, because right before closing, and this is after we had cleared all the hurdles, we had gone through the appraisal process, all the contingencies had been met. This is simply right before closing, right before the walkthrough, they got an email from what appeared to be the title company. And they got wire instructions so they could make their final deposit. And full disclosure, a lot of that is just procedural, right? Once you go under contract, there's a contract to close process, which is fully disclosed so everybody knows and understands what it is, but it's systematic, it's procedural, and the fact that they're getting a request for wire should not raise an eyebrow at all, except something was fishy. And I tell everyone, and the title company tells everyone, and anybody that you're doing business with who is a real estate professional should warn you that a title company is never going to deliver wire instructions via email because they are susceptible to being hacked. And wire fraud is extremely real. But this email looked very official, but these fraudsters, these hackers, are really good at what they do. They are professionals at fraud and thievery. So when the email came in, it looked exactly like every other email that they received from the title company. And thank God my clients are very intelligent professionals themselves, because something didn't pass the sniff test in their minds. But from what I learned later, and what my buyer and client told me, was he had gone all the way through the process and was about to hit send the wire, which would have been wiring hundreds of thousands of dollars to this unknown fraudster, or possible unknown fraudster, in real time. That money would never be recovered. That money would be gone forever. They would not close on that home. They would not max out South Florida living to the fullest the way they thought they would on that street in their dream home. They would be out damn near $500,000, and they would have been devastated. But something didn't feel right. Something was a little bit off. My client couldn't tell exactly what it was, but he decided he wanted to confirm the authenticity of this document by reaching out and calling the title company agent that he had been speaking to and had a relationship with. And when he did, he learned very quickly they had never sent him that email. And then they reminded him that they would never in a million years ask for wire instructions over email. And so it was very quickly revealed that this whole thing was a fraud. An elaborate, well-done, fraudulent scheme. They had their own website. They had almost the exact same email address. They had even copied the email signature perfectly. But my clients were almost blindsided by wire fraud. And I'm sharing this video with you because I don't want it to ever happen to anyone. A title company will never send you wire instructions via email. And if they do, then you are absolutely being scammed. It's not real. Call your title company. Call your agent. Call everybody involved with this transaction to ensure that you're wiring the money to the right escrow or title company. And it is way too damn hot outside for me to be doing a walk and talk. But welcome to Florida summer. It feels like you're breathing through a wet sock most of the summertime. And look, let's face it, nobody ever wants to lose money on any investment. And there are many folks that are concerned that they may be buying at the height of the market now. And if Trump would have been killed during that assassination attempt, there quite possibly could have been civil war, definitely civil unrest, but volatility season is here, my friends, and it's only going to get worse. And while I can and have pointed to data in the past, which empirically, definitively, certainly indicates there must be systemic failure across the board, there must be a collapse unlike anything we've seen before, I also know supply and demand will always dictate price. And it only took 10% of the overall market to be in distress, to be a forced bank sale or short sale, a distress sale, to bring down national home values by 30%. In some markets, it was much worse. But I also know supply and demand will always dictate price. And in my market, there is no more land to develop. Land is always scarce, but land in South Palm Beach County, there is none, period. There is no more to develop, which, to be clear, doesn't mean I'm unaware of all of the other macro things that are happening right now. I know at some point there's going to be a correction, but the only thing that I can track that gives me a real-time indicator as to what demand is are the amount of phone calls or reach outs or emails or communications that I receive from folks just like you who want to live in Florida now or yesterday. They want to max out South Florida living to the fullest. And despite all the bad news that's out there, which is real, but to be totally transparent, in the last week, I've had more buyers reach out to me directly, many of them international, not all of them. I have not seen this intensity of demand since the pandemic, since mortgage interest rates were at 2%, since the insane frenzy of everybody wanting to be in Florida. I have not seen this type of demand in a few years. And with all of the volatility and uncertainty and, frankly, terrorism happening in our political system right now, I would not be shocked if we didn't see Florida real estate explode to the upside over the course of the next few years. But the market is dynamic, the market is fluid, and the real estate market does not price in change in real time. The stock market does. So when you see the stock market crash or correct or implode or go on fire sale, if the stock market gets obliterated, well, that will be the leading indicator that at some point in the next few years, real estate will catch up. But it will take time. And having been a stockbroker for damn near 20 years, I know what I just said is absolutely true. What I don't know is does it even matter in South Florida? Because the demand across the board internationally from affluent buyers is so robust, it may insulate South Florida, my market, completely. But what do I know? There could be fire sales tomorrow. There could be half-price homes tomorrow. But I tend to doubt it. Now, I hope you found this content to be valuable. If you did, please subscribe to the channel, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment down below, and I look forward to seeing you on my next video.